What is going on, everyone? Badger here. Sure to like and sub, and let's get into this. Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2, a game that a lot of us have been watching for a while. I was basically like, this is it. This is the one that's going to get me into the Warhammer lore, because otherwise it's the isometric gameplays that I'm not into, and I've already got an addiction to figures. I don't need to be building a miniature army. And it looks like it has been a success. I mean, it's already a success with the players, but what really I think helped it get this way and maybe shield it from things that were going on with Games Workshop or Woke Shop, depending on how you hear it, and the female custodies and the Amazon Prime fookery. Instead, it seems like they were able to deliver their own little slice of the grim, dark Warhammer universe. And yeah, no pronouns in here, just good old-fashioned gameplay. I will be buying it. For $15, I got the anniversary edition of the first Space Marine. So I'm playing through with Knight Captain Titus. Yeah, it's great. I actually am enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to all the upgrades for the sequel and better graphics and things like that. But one of the main reasons, and while we're here, is the CEO and one of the devs working on it of of Saber, who had just left Embracer. That's the whole point. And we'll talk about that because Embracer Group was the one that had the Knights of the Old Republic license that I was terrified about. But then it went to Saber, and Saber left. And now after these comments, I'm actually very sort of excited and hopeful for the Knights of the Old Republic remake, but as long as Matthew Karch and these comments keep going. So here's what he said. This was on a review of Asmongold was going over a video of Space Marine, and here Matthew Karch, he said, "Hey man, CEO of Saber here. I love your videos. When we signed the deal to make Space Marine 2, all I wanted was a throwback game. We had the chance to work on something which by its nature was old school. I can't even comprehend many of the current games that we play these days. They are too complex, too much of an investment. We worked on Halo back in the day, and that game could be distilled down to the simplest of shooting loops, but it was entirely addicting. That is what we wanted to recapture. I hope that games like Space Marine 2 and Wukong are the start of a reversion to a time when games were simply about fun and immersion. I spent some time as chief operating officer at Embracer, and I saw games that were made that made me want to cry with their overblown attempts at messaging and imposing morals on gamers, which is what we're tired of, right? We just want to do some glory kills and get the heart rate up a little bit. For me, that is what games should be about. Not rocket science, genius, great comment. It's what we say. It's all we want. We don't play these games to be preached to. We don't play these games to see echoes of the real world. We play them to escape the real world, quite frankly. And of course, I mean, I play it to escape, to kill monsters as one of the Ultra Space Marines. And here's, you can see some of the reactions here. This is founder for the Games Fund saying, one of the coolest things I've read recently, same. Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 is a badass game. We played it in co-op and had tons of fun. So refreshing to see Matthew Karch engaging with the community. Based CEO. I wish big companies will hear the community and their customers, players, and not just the shareholders. And you see gaming is healing. The hell it isn't. And then you can see here, there's Matthew Karch. Whoever wrote that seems pretty sharp, basically confirming, same name. It's him. And it's led to some great results. And this is the other results, rather. And this is the other thing that makes me feel very hopeful about the future of at least games from Saber under his direction. After our departure from Embracer, we have been working on finding a partner with the resources to help Saber grow and with the foresight to believe in our business plan. On the heels of our release of Space Marine 2, which has already wildly surpassed our projections, we are proud to announce that we have taken on two equity investors, not that type of equity, Alpha Capital Partners and Crestview Capital Partners. There was no State Street, BlackRock, and Vanguard. Let's put it that way. I can't express how happy I am. This is a new chapter in Saber's history, and we are well equipped to help change the face of the game industry, and for the better, i.e. they maybe just found backing that's not woke AF and will follow through on their vision of actual immersion in gameplay and escapism. We could not have gotten here, and he goes on to list them. Saber is committed to changing the way we make and deliver games. Gone will be the days of 100 million plus budgets and the nickel and diming of gamers. Our industry has been stuck in the Jurassic era of bloated budgets and risk-laden releases for way too long. With Crestview and Aleph by our side, we are poised to change that. Now, what more do you want than that statement right there, acknowledging everything we've been saying? You don't even have to mention DEI because this was the problem before that even came in there. Bloated budgets that led to the nickel and diming of gamers and the removing of content only to sell it back to them later in the form of season passes or DLC. This is who we need making games. I had very much the same, almost 3 hours last night on Diabolical Souls Presents Channel Gooch interviewing Bo DeMeo. That man, it's a hit job from Disney. You listen to anything he says. Yeah. Thirst traps. I know. He explains the OnlyFans and everything. It's the same mentality of someone who sees a broken industry, actually likes the things they're working on, and wants to do the best for the customers, i.e. us, the fans. So shout out to Matthew Karch here. Really seems to get it. You can see it's right there at the top of their top sellers. And even though gameplay's gone down a little bit, that's just because, look, Warhammer is still a very specific targeting audience. But I think as more word of mouth and as extra DLC comes out, we're going to see that number go back up. But still more players than Concord Dustborn ever had. Yeah. Anyway, let me know what you think of all of this. Are you going to play Space Marine 2? Did you watch that Bo DeMeo interview? Two separate things, I know. But yeah, Matthew Karch will be watching your career with great interest. Anyway, make sure to like, share, and sub. If you have done that, thank you. If you're going to do that, thank you.
Well, bye.